All right, welcome on in. We're going to be talking about all things dash in this video. So the first thing to sort of talk about with dash is that normally you can only dash in a grouping of 3, right, with a slow dash. And then it's a small cooldown, right? However, if we dash up against the ledge like I did there, we can end up extending our chain. And this is known as a dash reset, right? However, you cannot actually dash reset on the 3rd dash. Let's see if I can show this. Yeah, there we go. So you can only end up getting a dash reset on the 1st or 2nd dash in a slow dash chain. In a chain dash chain, we can actually get ledge resets on any number of dashes. Oops, let's see if I can just... This is very weird. Yeah, there we go. So don't worry about that. There are different ways of getting dash resets as well, such as taking damage. If you end up getting like shot with a projectile while you're doing a slow dash chain, it'll actually reset your dash count back to 1 so that you can continue to dash further. There's a few intentional damage boosts you can do. I'll probably just like point them out that you can do them, but not. But I suggest not worrying about those too much. So another interesting sort of nuance with dash, especially for keyboard and mouse runners, is that if you end up like holding a walking key while you're dashing, like doing slow dashes, you'll end up sliding on the ground. So you'll notice that as I'm like dashing down and holding to the left as a walking direction, that I end up sliding in between each of my dashes, right? See that? And this can actually also trigger a dash reset on ledges, right? See that, how I did 4 dashes there instead of 3? So just be aware that that's a mechanic for keyboard and mouse as well as controller runners. Like you can do this on controller, it's just a little bit more difficult to manipulate it in the same sort of fashions. But this is the main way that we are going to dash reset, is just by holding the walking direction as we dash through. Great, okay. So let's talk about chain dash. So after you get chain dash in the run, you're going to be able to move faster around the map. And you're also going to notice a stamina bar that's going to appear in the top left corner of the screen. So you start spending stamina once you start a chain dash. So that being said, the first dash of a dash chain will never cost stamina, right? And I highly suggest just coming back into the dash shop and using this area, because these purple bars will just fully refill your stamina, as you can see, right? So the first dash of a chain will never cost stamina, right? So dashing in groupings of 2 is going to be the most stamina efficient way of utilizing chain dash to move around maps. And so for optimizing your routing and stamina and stuff, once you get to that point, just be aware that that's a thing. Whereas if I do a grouping of 3, you'll notice that I use more stamina than if I do a grouping of 2. Okay? So 2 groupings of 3, which is 6 dashes in total, uses more stamina than 3 groupings of 2 chain dashes. Okay? So just be aware that that's a thing mathematically. Great. The next thing to explain in chain dashes is for going around the run, you're going to be doing groupings of 2 for the grand majority of it. So if there's one thing to practice as a beginner, it's just to come into here. I suggest doing this for like a few minutes every single day as you're wanting to run and like doing runs and attempts and stuff. Just for like 3 to 5 minutes, just doing groupings of 2. Going around this. I kid you not. You can like switch up your angles and stuff, but just keep trying to keep a constant pace of groupings of 2, right? If you try and press it too quickly for the next dash, you'll notice that it'll revert back into a slow dash chain. Whoops. Sorry, it's hard for me to intentionally fail this. Yeah, there we go. See that? So it does a dash of 2 and 3 in the slow dash chain, and then you have to wait a cooldown before you can dash again. So just practice putting those pauses in between those pairings of 2. and then not dashing too quickly. Okay? Great. The reason why also doing groupings of 2 is what I suggest for newer runners everywhere is if you do a grouping of 3 and you run into a wall, you will end up getting stunned for like 1.5 seconds. And so you'll lose about like 2 seconds or so from that experience. However, if you do groupings of 2, you cannot end up bonking against these walls. So if you hear us say bonking, that's what it's referring to, is this little stun animation. That's a bonk. Okay, so for full chain dash chains, you want to be able to press the button between every 0.2 and every 0.3 seconds. And that starts around like the 4th or 5th dash. The timing press between the first and second dash, I don't remember exactly what it is, but if you try and do it at 0.2 seconds, it should not work. Yeah, like that was, I think, a 0.2 second timing press. But it's pretty close, it's pretty close. So the range of acceptable timing presses actually changes as you go up into a dash. The last thing to explain is that once you do a dash chain of 4 or more, when you fail the chain dash chain or you just let it go, you'll end up getting stunned inside the slide animation. If you end up healing before the slide starts, you can actually end up canceling it out, right? That's one way of doing it, or once again, like taking damage, yada, 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 yada. So just be aware that you can like heal in order to stop yourself. But if you wait too long, you'll end up getting stunned, as you saw me there, right? Oh, whoops, I actually am out of medkits. That's okay. You can also like interrupt a dash with like sit, but then you just like get stunned or you just start sliding out of it, right? See that? So a sit doesn't actually cancel out the slide. Last thing to mention about sliding is the longer the chain dash chain, the longer the slide animation will be. So we can actually also do a really cool little sort of slide extension by firing the shotgun in an area to extend that. And that's the last thing I'll just sort of show. And so there's certain areas where you can like do a shotgun shot, like past a waypoint and sort of extend your slide a bit. And it doesn't actually save any time anywhere except for south. There's one spot in south where it does save time. Right, but you can do like a slide extension like this by using a shotgun shot. Oops. Just trying to build up a lot of speed. Whee! Yeah, there you go, right? So just be aware that that is something you can also do. Cool, all right, that's it.